Hey, everybody, thanks for joining Renewed Mind Breakthroughs with Ashley. Today, I want to give my testimony. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimonies. So, I was raised by a single mom. I'm the oldest of three girls. My one sister is less than 2 years younger than me, and the other one is 7. So, being raised by a single mom, she was gone a lot. She had to work, provide for us. So, we had lots of freedom, lots of unsupervision, lots of crazy things that we did. My mom moved us around a lot. Like, I remember, I had lost track, but I'm pretty sure I went to at least 30 schools in my life. Like, some years, 3 schools in one year. Like, were you raised were you raised in the military? No, it was more like the answer to my mom's troubles or whatever. She just like run from them, like it's think of it like a vacation, girls, like we're gonna go somewhere new. It's gonna be exciting. And it's like, yeah, I'll never make friends. And I'm not even gonna unpack this time because what's the point? Every time I make a friend and I unpack, I just have to repack and lose that friend. And so, like, my sister was my best friend growing up because she was all I had. My other sister was so young, I felt more like I was raising her than like it being a friend or whatever. And like my mom definitely used a lot. She smoked cigarettes and I remember sneaking her cigarettes. Ooh, we got really good and sneaky at getting cigarettes from her. And remember finding her pot and, she would drink. And I found out later there's other drugs involved or whatever. So it wasn't, long before I started using. And like even I remember her like buying us like wine coolers and stuff. And she would kind of had the mindset of like, if you're under my roof, then at least I can watch you and supervise you or whatever. And so yeah, I like started smoking very young. Like I said, 12 or whatever. That's probably somewhere in there. Weed came very shortly after that. Drinking, that was right in there too. Like those three, like right out the gate. I wasn't even a teenager, I don't think, for any of them. Meth, gosh, that came into my life real early on too. I feel like I was 15. I want to say maybe 16. But like, yeah, my mom, I remember one time that she was going to move like hours away, and I had finally been in an area long enough to like make some real good friends. And so like I just ran away from home, and I ended up moving in with this guy, and he was like dealing meth. I'm not sure if I even like really knew that at the time, but so, like where did that leave me? Like, yeah, doing tons of meth. And then I remember wanting to get away from that. And so I went home, moved back in with my mom, and she was doing meth. So it was like I couldn't even like run away from it. And so then I started using with her and, my sister. And we would just be getting high and go in the casino like all the time. I ended up dropping out of high school because I was like, well, first of all, I moved around so much. So like try to keep your credits in line while you're moving so much. Like I wasn't going to graduate anyway. Like I was skipping class all the time, getting high. So, it was just like, what's the point of this? I'm just going to drop out. I remember going to my principal. I was 17 and maybe I was 18. And it was my senior year. And I was like, I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions. And I told her, like, I want to be a singer. I want to be a singer-songwriter. And so, like, I don't need an education to do that. And, I talked to her and she was like, okay, like, whatever, Ashley. And so, like, went out and then it was just like, get high, or whatever. And then really like looking at my life, it's like, Ashley, do you want to be some high school dropout who's just getting high? I was like, no, absolutely not. So I went back to my principal the next year and I was like, okay, I want to graduate. Can you help me graduate? And she was like, absolutely, Ashley. And like, she worked some magic. She used my credits for me becoming a certified nurse assistant, and like whatever she could pull together. And I had to do extra work on top of my full schedule, but she made it so I could graduate my super senior year. So that was fun, going to high school with the grade below me, graduating with them. But whatever, I did it. I graduated, so I was pretty proud of that. And then it was like, okay, I'm gonna trace my dreams because I do want to be a singer and a songwriter. So I'm gonna go to school and be a music producer, because then I can cut out the middleman. I can write my songs and sing them and produce them, and it'll just be great. And when I went to music school, oh my God, you guys, I loved it. I loved it so much. It was the best. And when I got done, I remember that day, I just walked out of the school bawling. I could not believe I was done. I didn't want it to be over. I remember calling my mom. I'm like, like I couldn't even form words. I was just like so sad. I was like, I had such big dreams and like, no way. Like what am I going to do with these dreams? Like what's next? It was just so scary and I didn't know what to do. And then guess what happens? Oh, I run into an old friend and there comes the meth again. Back in it I go. It's like every time I've tried to run from it, it's like right there, like waiting for me, like, hey, remember me? We like each other. We have fun, right? No, we don't. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, the things that, the people I hung out with, the things, like I had to just be in my own little world. Because if I watched what was going on around me, like I knew it was just gonna like hurt my soul, so I had to protect myself, like see no evil, hear no evil. So I would always be like crafting and, decorating things, decorating lighters and boxes and all kinds of things, like to keep my eyes off of what was going on around me, because it did not sit with me. Like I just knew it was just so bad and I needed a way out. I needed a way out so bad. And at this point, like my family disowned me and I went to my mom and I'm like, Mom, help me get off of these drugs. Like I want to, be sober. I want to do right. And my mom was just like, no, like Ashley, get off my property. Like she didn't even let me in the house. Like, no, I'm not helping you. And I called my aunt because my grandma had passed away. That's a whole nother story. Like missed out on seeing her because of getting high, even though she was like waiting for me. Anyway, so my aunt's like, Ashley, all the family has talked about it and we'll pay for you to go to Teen Challenge, their 13-month program. And I was like, oh, you just want to get rid of me for a year? Like, oh, is that how it is or whatever? And so then I was like, yeah, absolutely not. I'm not going to treatment for a year. Like maybe if they would have offered me 30 days, they maybe could have got me to stay a year, but they went right to a year. And I was like, you just want to get rid of me. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And so, back to getting high. And then I was dating this guy and he had like all of these babies with all these different mamas. And I was like, that's my guy. Not really. But like in my mind, I think that is what I was thinking, because I wanted a child. I felt like I needed a reason to live and I couldn't do it for me. And so maybe if I got pregnant, that I would have a reason to live and that I would, be able to actually put this behind me. And so that's what I did. I went and got pregnant. And then guess what? My mom let me back in the house. And I'm going to have to pick up the rest of this story tomorrow. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And yeah, thanks for joining.